Have you ever tried to bring peace to a situation and it didn't work? Or bring peace into a relationship, but like somehow it still didn't work? Like maybe you tried because you're calm, you try calm, bring calm to the, atmosphere. Maybe you try to like resolve stuff without fighting because you don't like to fight, you like peace. Maybe you try like to create like stability and show the person like what being with an honest person feels like, or just showing them genuine honesty. But instead of stuff improving, it felt like maybe the relationship kept turning into chaos. Moments like that can leave you like confused. Have you been in a situation like that? If you have, this message is for you. Let's get into it. So, like I said, moments like that can actually leave somebody confused. Like, you are an honest person, you're a genuine person, you like peace, you don't like drama, you don't like chaos, you don't like toxicity, you like peace, calm, what I call husa moments, husa houses where it's just like chilled. Like, not all that drama, talking things out. If there's issues, just peace, being respectful to one another, bringing out the best in one another. You know what I'm saying? But moments like that can leave some people confused. I know. You saying why, Melinda? That don't even make sense. I know. I'm a make it make sense type of person. But you may start like wondering, it'll even have you thinking something's wrong with you. Yes, and nothing's wrong with you, but it'll make you feel like that. And maybe you think you weren't exciting enough. Maybe you think you were too calm and too steady. But the reality is sometimes the issue isn't that peace is boring. What it is that the issue is that chaos for them feels more familiar. hmm They don't know how to live in peace. They only used to chaos. Chaos, destruction, dishonesty. That's all they know. So here you come chugging along with a peaceful person, honest, da 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 da. They don't know how to take that. On the outside looking in, it looks good. They want that because they feel like in their life they've never had that. So they wish they just had somebody that could be here for them and just give them that peace and cool, calm, and collected type of person. Then you get there and maybe that's boring to them. They like chaos. They like people busting out their windows. They like people cussing them out. They like people getting in public, embarrassing them because that's what they're used to. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but that may be all they know. So they don't. So when you come along and you're this peaceful person, they don't know how to receive it. You're genuine, and no matter what happens, you're still not gonna be dishonest because that's who you are. But they're used to people being dishonest all the time. They're used to people saying that they this is gonna happen, but then doing the opposite. They're used to people saying I'm gonna stick by you, and then they're sticking by them and three, four, five other people. They're used to people draining them for finances, and you got your own stuff. Yeah, sis. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just speaking the truth. So the issue isn't like sometimes the issue isn't that peace is boring. It's just that, like I said, the chaos feels familiar to them. And psychology research shows that people can become conditioned in emotional, they can become like conditioned to like emotional environments that they experienced growing up. So let's say somebody had a house full, like a household where it was always fussing and cussing. Let's say they cussed each other out, called each other every name under the book, and then they see them hugged up right afterward. So now that's showing that person that, oh, cussing me out and then hugging me is loving me, because that like if the parents stayed in that, or let's say they were like the I don't know if we can say this on YouTube or not because I'm kind of new, but like if somebody like put hands on a person or something like that, and they saw that growing up, or you could do that same thing with the mouth, like verbally, like saw people with your mouth, and then turn around and they loved up lovey dovey to each other, and they're still stayed in that, they think that's normal. So what do? Not everybody, but what some of the people do, they grow up and then they do that. And so if you have a person that's not doing that, they may in their mind equate that to that person don't love them, because they're not cussing them out, because they're not humiliating them, because they're not, being like physical or whatever. Yeah. So growing up, it matters like what you see and stuff. Like some people go the total opposite. They're like, oh, I'm never gonna do that because I didn't like how that feels. But then some people are not able to disconnect from that. They feel like that's the way that they receive love, or this person really cares about me, because they're busting out my car windows, they're keying my car, they're putting sugar in the tank, they're taking your money, stealing it, going to spend it, like all of that. They're juicing you out of all this money, and then come back around and give you a hug and all this stuff and say they're sorry. And because you're used to that, that's normal to you. Then you have a person that's calm, that comes to help build, that person that's they're 100% honest. They just come up front and tell you things that other people don't even tell. They keep secret. You may have been somebody that's like honest, but they're not telling you everything. Because why? Because they didn't grow up being honest, or all their relationships were chaotic and they always were deceitful. So now they're in this mindset and spirit of being deceitful. So that's all they know. So that's why they're not giving you that. And so you're sitting here being truthful, genuine, but they don't know how to receive it. hmm And like I said, like if somebody spent years in relationships that were filled with conflict, instability, emotional highs and lows, unpredictability, their nervous system, that's the pattern. It became used to that pattern. We're gonna argue, we're gonna fuss and fight. I'm not gonna talk to you for days. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna love on you, I'm gonna hug you, I'm gonna cuddle up. No, no. We need to resolve this. No, that's not how this works. But in their mind, that's how they function. hmm Then, like, what happens is their brain begins to associate the intensity with the connection, which is why they feel disconnected from you now, because you're too calm and too peaceful, which is how it should be. So don't take this as that's wrong. No, that's how it should be. Just chill. Like you should just be able to jail. You should be able to have, emotionally intelligent conversations. You should be able to just talk things out, and not all this deceit, dishonesty, sneaking, tipping and dipping. That's played out. All this toxic environment. No, no, that's not how it should be. But because that's the relationships they've been in, and that's what they know, that's why they're like that. Their brain is wired for that. Yours is not. That's why you're like, what the heck? Who? I'm not doing this. Yeah, because your brain is not wired like that. Because when somebody comes with all that foolishness to you, you ready to go. But for them, they're gonna go to somebody else's house, and then come back to that person's house, and then go back to that person's house, and then go to another person's house, and then vicious cycle, toxicity. And some people like the sneaking, because for them, they feel like that's the exciting part for them, because they get to sneak and cheat on somebody, or they get to sneak and be deceitful all their lives. hmm I know it don't sound just like sound like what, but this is reality. hmm Because I always want to understand why. Like, why would a person do that? Like, if you waited all your life and you pray for somebody to be here to be this for you, and you sick of people dogging you out, and you want a stable household, then you get it, and then all of this that I just talked about, this is why they're conditioned to be like that. And like I said, like their brain associates the intensity of all of that toxicity with the connection. So if you don't bring all that drama, they go seeking out that drama because they like drama. Hmm. It was hard for me to, when I'm preparing for this, to just come and talk, because I always like, I'm very analytical. You guys know that by now. I tell you that. And so a lot of times I'll jot my own notes down because stuff comes to me so fast. I have to jot my notes down. It's a blessing. I'm not even complaining about it, but I jot stuff down because it comes to me so fast sometimes. And then it's like, but why, Lord? Why would they? But then it's like I get it all laid out. I research a little bit deeper, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's all they know, sis. That's what they know. So then what happens is, like I said, you come in here trotting along, you're all peaceful and stuff like that. So when peace comes in to enter the picture, honesty, like you're honest, calm, you like to communicate, you're stable meaning emotionally stable, meaning that like you'll talk things out, but you don't want to sit up here and do all this arguing. And nobody want to cuss each other. I don't want to cuss. I don't curse, for one thing, but if I did curse, I wouldn't want to be with somebody I gotta curse out and then go lay down. That's just my own personal opinion. But again, I don't curse. But hey, if I got mad enough, I'm honest enough to tell you that I don't curse, but I can throw a couple of words together to where don't play with me like that. But if I gotta go and argue with you every day and then wonder this and wonder that, I don't want to be in that, because I like peace. So if you like peace, and you're honest, calm, you like to communicate, you like stability. Like I got my own stuff. So when I come, it's a full. I'm not coming for somebody to complete me. I got my own money, my own job, my own things and stuff like that. I have a house, like all that stuff. I'm not waiting for somebody to give me anything. The reason why I'm in a relationship is because I choose to be. But I'm not, you know, when you get married, it says we're two or are gathered. The two are gathered into one. It don't say three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine are gathered together in one, joining in holy matrimony. Nobody has time for all that. But I'm just breaking down why some people, when you're trying to understand if you're a good person, why they do all this, it's because they're not even healed. And that's all they know. So like I said, when peace come in the picture, honesty, calm, communication stable, it feels unfamiliar to them, or it can feel unfamiliar to them. And so not because it's unhealthy what you're bringing, but because it's different from what their nervous system is used to and what they expect. They like the hype, the drama, the adrenaline. They like all that. Hmm. And like I said a little bit ago, sometimes people will say, oh, I want peace. I wish I had a woman like that. Oh, you're the best woman. Oh, you bring so much. I wish I had somebody like that. Then they get somebody like you and they don't know how to live with it. They don't know how to handle you. So what happens? Then they go back and they return to what's familiar. Sneaky links, Jezebel spirits, tipping, dipping, argumentative debates. Even if what's familiar isn't healthy, they still go back to it. Even if they done tore up their car, even if they done took their money, even if they called them all kind of stuff, every name in the book, even if they know they have a partner and still sneaking with them. So if they did it to them, what you think they gonna do to them? Not you, but like a person is doing that. It don't even make sense. But anyway, so understanding this can be freeing for you because it can stop you from wondering why this and why would they do that. And it's so many people that will want somebody that's looking for a blessing, to be blessed with the a virtuous type woman, or a woman that brings something to the table, and then you bring it to them and they still don't know how to handle it. So this can kind of explain why. Because sometimes the reason somebody chose chaos isn't because you lack something. That's what I want you to hear. Let me tell you again. Because the people that chose chaos over you, it doesn't mean that you lack something necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all. It's sometimes it's because they haven't learned how to receive the kind of love that you were offering. They don't know how to receive it. They don't know how to have somebody being good to them or being honest. Or if they turn their back, or you could be gone on like a work trip for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever, where you're not gonna be tipping and dipping around and sneaking and all that. They're not used to that. They're used to people doing the opposite. And so I hope that realization can help you release the belief that you believe in that you were not enough. Sometimes God uses painful experiences to reveal patterns that were never meant to stay in our lives. hmm Let me say it again. Everything happened because sometimes it's because they have not yet learned how to receive the kind of love that you were bringing or offering. And I hope, like I said, the realization can help you realize the belief that maybe you were not enough. I don't want you feeling like that. Yeah. Don't have that belief that you're not enough, because you are enough. Okay? Okay? You are. And so sometimes, like I said, God uses painful experiences to reveal patterns that were never meant to stay in our lives. Let me say it again, sis. Sometimes God uses painful experiences to reveal patterns that were never meant to stay in our lives. Yep. So if this message helped you or helped you see something more clearly, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you peace, love, joy, and happiness. Have a great day, sis.